Hello, I'm Marie, and I'm about to tell you about the most magical summer of my life. The summer that I got to study abroad at the University of Oxford. So back in the States, I go to the University of Georgia. Go Dogs! And they have a fantastic arrangement with the University of Oxford where I take UGA classes, but they are taught by Oxford professors in the Oxford tutorial style. Oxford uses tutorials rather than US-style lecture courses. So in a tutorial you meet with the professor one-on-one or in a small group once a week. In my tutorials, I met with my professor and 2 other students. Essays are usually presented weekly and form the basis of tutorial discussions, and students are then graded based on tutorial essays, tutorial discussions, and sometimes written examinations. In my case, I had to write 2 essays a week, one for each class, and they were about 1,600 to 2,000 words apiece. Well, at Oxford, I lived at Trinity College, which was founded in 1555. That is where I slept, ate, and studied. We were served breakfast and dinner in the dining hall, and on Monday nights, we had formal dinner, which were one of my favorite things. Oxford colleges are very different than in the US. Each college in Oxford has their own dining halls, dorms, libraries, faculty, staff, and they're really independent from each other. And there are 44 colleges that make up Oxford University. I really loved staying in Trinity College. It was lovely. It was right across from the Bodleian Libraries, and I had like the most amazing room that you can see in my dorm tour video. I can link that at the end of this video. And there was also a college kitty named Artemis, and she was adorable.
You want to do something, Artemis, please? Hello, oh my god, hi!
One of the special things about my summer program is that I got to take classes that were taught by professors from colleges other than the one that I was living at. So I took a history tutorial about the institutions of the medieval West at Christ Church College, which is so beautiful. We met on Staircase 4. And then I also took a tutorial in Romantic Air Literature at Balliol College. Being a part of this program also meant that I had access not only to the library at Trinity, but also the Bodleian Library, and oh my goodness, that was just one of my favorite things about Oxford. I love that library so much, and if I could just sit in there forever, I would be happy. The part of the Bodleian that I got to hang out in a lot was the Radcliffe Camera. Oh, Radcliffe Camera. It's literally one of the most beautiful buildings in Oxford, probably my favorite building in Oxford, and that's really hard to choose. But that is where the history faculty library is located, so I spent a lot of time in there reading. And also, to avoid all the tourists that were in Radcliffe Square, I would just take the secret underground passage that was connected the main Bodleian courtyard to the camera. And it was awesome. One day I was going to the camera, and I walked into Radcliffe Square, and I was suddenly surrounded by people with clipboards and headsets and walkie-talkies, and my first thought was, oh no, I hope the library is still open. I just need to find a book about Edward I, because I needed to do research to finish my paper, because I was going to Paris that weekend. So I weaved past all of these very official looking people, and as I go by one of them, they're talking into their walkie-talkie headset thing, and they say something about a drone shot for the opening of scene 6. Thankfully I was able to get into the library, and I decided to sit near the side where the filming was going on because I was incredibly curious. The window, it was open because it was a warm summer day, so I could hear them. And they were yelling like, quiet on set and action! And it was all very exciting. And then, it turns out, they were filming these 2 men on bikes riding past the camera for like an hour. But when I left the camera, I learned that they were filming for Discovery of Witches Season 2, which I am very excited about because I was reading the book like while I was at Oxford, and it was just all like kind of surreal. It was really cool. So if you see Discovery of Witches Season 2, I was in the camera while that was happening. Alright, now enough about school stuff. Let's talk about the actual town of Oxford. So the covered market dates back to about 1776, and that's where Brianna and I would usually go for lunch, as there are a variety of places to eat. Now you may recognize Brown's Cafe from season 1 of Discovery of Witches, but our favorite place to get lunch was definitely Pieminster. We designated Tuesdays as Meat Pie Tuesdays, and between the two of us, I'm pretty sure we tried every type of meat pie there. A group of us got together and decided to do the very Oxford activity of punting. So a punt is a flat-bottom boat with a square-cut bow, and it's designed for use in small rivers or other shallow bodies of water.
Hello, do you trust?
Yes.
Do the queen way.
Oh, the queen, yes. Wait, I have to do it with this guy.
Oh my gosh, goodbye. Done.
There is then a punter that generally propels the punt forward by pushing against the bottom of the riverbed with a very long pole, which we all attempted to do with varying degrees of success.
With the sun behind you. Brianna's first time hunting.
So you just like...
Yeah. So the thing that I found helpful is don't be afraid to move your hands up and down like the whole time. Because if you try to keep your hands in one spot, it's going to be really difficult.
Just like Dick Van Dyke.
Now you have to see Brianna, you can hunt all the teams now.
What if I started to almost stop?
Oh yeah.
That would be like, if you twist it a little.
We got. That's just
So you say
punching
one,
off of the wall.
but I don't think you actually want to do
You
one.
gotta do something.
Andy, if there's one thing I want to do is break the law in a form.
Oh, frick!
We went to many of the museums that Oxford had to offer, including the Museum of Natural History and the Ashmolean. During our last week at Oxford, the wonderful librarian at Trinity opened up the Fellows Library at Trinity for us to look around. Oh my goodness, there were so many like really old books located there, and it was amazing, and yeah, it was so cool. So cool. There was a book that contained drawings of all the colleges at Trinity, how they appeared in the 16th century. So this is what Trinity looked like about 500 years ago, right before the current chapel was built. And the plans for the chapel also appeared in this book. It was so cool. So many old books. I love old books so much. I could have spent another month in that library easily. Now, the most amazing book that was in this library, in my opinion, was this one, which once belonged to King Henry VIII. Yeah, that Henry. The one who had 6 wives and founded the Church of England? Yeah, this was his book. It is also signed by Thomas Pope, who founded Trinity College, which means that this book was worth about £400,000, and they let me touch it. The librarian was so nice and showed us a bunch of books, including the largest book in the collection, which was this Bible. Near the end of our stay, we also got to go up into the bell tower of the chapel at Trinity College, and it had an amazing view of the town and countryside.
Look how great. You can like see the country and stuff.
Yeah.
That's I'm sure they have a.
Are these the bells that go off?
And one of the many things that I loved about Oxford was how you always knew what time it was by the chiming of the bells in multiple bell towers across the city, and it was so beautiful and historic. I just loved sitting in my little window seat and just hearing the bells chime. It was just really, really beautiful. So it's almost time for formal dinner. This is Brianna eating a snack for formal dinner. I'm about to put on, oh dear, that did not focus right. There we go. I'm about to put on this medieval style ring that I got at Christ Church after my last day of medieval institutions in the West class as like a little end of semester program present for myself, which I'm really excited about. I realized that it looks a lot like my other ring that I have, so now I have 2 different style rings for formal dinner. Last formal dinner. Makes me sad, but it's been so much fun. Yeah, boy. Yeah. So formal dinner was a 3-course meal served with wine, and it was usually candles appeared with the nice silver that they had there at Trinity, and all of us students sat at the long tables, but we would stand by our seats until the professors, program directors, and guests proceeded into the high table, and a prayer in Latin was then read, dinner was gavelled to order, and then we could sit. After dinner, we would head down to the college pub, which was located right below the dining hall, and that was always a good time. Also got to experience some of the local culture in Oxford by going to an open mic night at the community center called Cat Weasel. And at our last Cat Weasel, our friend Connor performed his original song.
I've been here for about 6 weeks on a study abroad program, and I came to Cat Weasel for the first time on the 4th of July, and I was feeling really homesick and just down, and I almost didn't come, and I got myself to come, and it was amazing, and I went home and wrote about 90% of the song at like 2 a.m. And so, yeah, this is a song about Cat Weasel. And I find the doors and pay £6. There's no chairs left, so I sit upon the ground.
hanging on a makeshift stage, and to say nothing of the sound. Oh, cat weasel, a home away from home I found. Oh, cat weasel, I wrote this song to save my pounds. A young woman tells us about creatures with scales. A man will tell us of his deeply held regrets. And the next will tell us about sex. Oh, cat weasel, a home away from home I found. Oh, cat weasel, I play this song to save my pounds. The night is done, the music's ended. As far as fourths go, this one has been splendid. And though the taxi stopped and I'm confused by the bus, the walk home draws from me no fuss. And with this song I bid you all farewell. 6 weeks go by so fast, the blink when I meant to stare. But this one night doesn't have to be the end. If this song gets stuck in your head. Oh, cat weasel, a home away from home I found. Oh, cat weasel, I wrote this song to save my pounds.
Oxford, you taught me a lot. And not just in your beautiful, magnificent libraries that I wish I could never leave, but you taught me that I could survive a really long way from home and that I really have great friends and family. From late night study sessions, to the magic you hold within your walls and the history in your streets, to all of the tea I consumed. Thank you for being amazing, Oxford. Especially you, Artemis. Brianna and I had been joking around throughout the program about how people come back from studying abroad and adamantly avow that it changed their life. And well, maybe I understand now. Managed to set up in the last like 10 minutes. Good to go? Have you been recording this whole time, Brianna?
You'll never know.
I'm very confused.
It's like camera roulette. Am I recording?
I think you
Okay, now I'm recording.
Oh, you weren't?
Now I am.
It is camera roulette with you. I can't say words. Alright.